Chef Emerie Brine, our guest. He's a New Brunswick boy turned chef in the Army. Were you in the Air Force?
Well, I was in the Air Force, yeah. And what I did is I went to finish school, went to college, did my 1 year in college, joined the military, moved to Ontario with the military, and then once I've completed, the way it was done back then, once you completed 3,000 hours in the industry, which is wherever you were cooking, then you write your Red Seal certificate, and then I did that in Ontario, and now I'm a Red Seal certificate chef.
Okay, a Red Seal certificate chef, and you work for Bernardin. You're the Bernardin chef.
Chef for Bernardin, yeah.
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here for Epic, yes.
Okay. Figs? What?
Figs, dried figs. What we have here, we've done, and this, you know, people think that canning can only be done, you know, July, August, September, October. Yeah. I do canning all year long because there's a whole series of products that are out there. This is made out of dried figs. So
dried figs?
Dried figs. We boil them in water for about 20 minutes. We pureed them. Then we added sugar and pectin and lemon juice, a little bit of liqueur for that a little extra kick. And then, again, this can be made any time of the year. And then we paired it with blue cheese and a nice cracker.
How great. So blue cheese, nice cracker. You could use that with meat, too,
You can use that with pork. You can use that with chicken. Anything, yeah. It's really good.
Dried figs. Well, who knew? And also salmon in the West Coast. I know you have to be careful when you... A lot of people just smoke salmon. But if you want to can salmon...
Any type of meat has to be done in a pressure canner, simply because this is considered a low acid product, low acid item. And if you process it in a water bath, the water bath process will not eliminate any potential botulism that's in the product. So a pressure canner will bring it up to heat at 116 degrees, and it will destroy any potential botulism that's in the product.
And is there a way you can test it when you take it out of the jar? I don't mean to be fear.
Right.
But I think it's important that when people home can, they know what they're doing.
There is really no way of testing it. However, all of our recipes in our books have been tested in our labs. So I always tell people to follow a trusted, reliable source when it comes to any type of pressure canning and or water bath canning recipe.
And now if you're busy, and you don't have time to do any of this, and you just want to pickle something, pickle a beet, pickle an onion.
That can be done safely in a water bath, on a stovetop with a big pot of water, no problem. Anything with lemon juice or vinegar can be done safely on a water bath, in a water bath.
Okay, what if you have a disaster? For instance, you picked the wild berries, you've done it all, and somehow you mess up, and you have like runny jam or jelly. Yeah,
well, it's not a complete disaster. What you can do, you can either use it as is, and you can use it on a sundae or ice creams or pound cake or cheesecake, great ideas. However, if you don't want to use that, you can reboil it until it thickens. And when I tell people that...
You can?
Oh yeah, absolutely, you can
just
reboil it.
Put it back in the pot.
Put it back in the pot, and what you can do, you can add more pectin, but at this stage, I usually tell people do the long boil method, which means you boil it down till it thickens.
Right. Do you work with any special vinegars or anything?
No, just a regular 5% vinegar.
Just the regular... vinegar.
Yeah, just a regular branded vinegar.
Well, I was leafing through Bernardin Complete Book of Home Preserving. It's either this one or the other one, and somebody cans spare ribs.
Yep.
Yes, without the bone, I'm thinking.
Yeah, without the bone, yeah. It would be advisable without the bone, yeah.
Why would you do that?
Well, you know, if people have access to these large quantities of meats and their freezer is full, I know as a child, we had 2 large chest freezers, right?
Right.
Because we had 11 kids to feed, but we also had a massive pantry, so there was a balance of everything there.
With 11 kids. How'd you do the bathroom thing?
Very carefully.
I bet you did, because you say, my turn.
You have to take a turn.
Every big family will tell you.
You had to queue up.
Right.
One bathroom.
One bathroom for 11 kids?
One bathroom.
Please. So did they put you in the tubs outside and scrub your back?
In the summertime, when we had the opportunity, we would go outside in the tubs. Yeah, we also lived close to the water, so we were quite fortunate.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
What do you treasure about growing up on the farm with 10 brothers and sisters?
I really miss that large environment. So, you know, when I tell people or friends or that I meet that, you know, 2 Christmases ago, we were 52 people at Christmas dinner, just the immediate family. They look at you with kind of shock and awe, and we had to rent a hall just to accommodate our group for dinner. So that's what I miss the most, is having large groups of people. And when when I have a dinner party, it's not 2 people; it's usually 10 or 15
10 or
people.
15, why not?
It's a piece of cake for me, because I've been so used to having cook for 2 or 10. To me, is just the same amount of work. So.
And all the brothers and sisters, are they chefs? Any of them?
No.
Anybody go down the food path? Do they farm? Are they scientists? You're the only one.
I'm the only one who's cooking. Yeah. As a child, I would go in the garage and help my dad, and I didn't get what an alternator or a carburetor was. So then I would go in the kitchen and help my mom, and then I discovered at an early age I kind of had a knack of reading a recipe and baking and cooking, and my mom said, okay, I'm keeping this one for me, and I'm going to help her in the kitchen. Right? So.
I found a helper, a guy who likes to do the chores in the kitchen.
Right.
So at your house in Toronto,
yes.
Do you have like canned spaghetti sauce, and can you put a meal together in a second, or do you do it anymore?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, I do it. Yeah. I could do starting from strawberries. I do several different types of strawberries jam. Then I move into raspberries, blueberries, cranberries, and then when the peaches and pears come in, I do different types. I spice them up. I add some cinnamon. I add some star anise. I'll add a little bit of liqueur sometimes, depending on what I have in season.
Ooh,
and then in the fall, when cranberries come, I make chutneys and relishes. And then Christmas I make wine jellies and pepper jellies, and then fruits and stuff like that. So yeah.
And do you make your wine jellies with top wine, or do you use the Plonk?
I use the cheapest kind.
The Plonk.
Yeah.
Okay, because they say when you cook, you go ahead and use the fine wine. But if you're making wine jelly, I think
you're going to burn off the alcohol.
Jug.
So you just want the flavor essentially of the wine.
Sure.
So any cheap wine will do. Yeah.
Okay, well, nice to meet you. Have
Thank
fun
you
at the Epic Sustainability Expo.
Will.
You'll be in the booth. I'm assuming you'll be in the
Bernardin
booth.
Bernardin booth, yep.
And will this be available?
This will be available. We're doing 2 segments on Saturday, one on Saturday and one on Sunday, and the guests who attend the workshop can taste it.
So fig and a little cheese, why not? Thank you.
Dandy, thank you.
Chef Emerie Brine.